While I don't think that I've seen too many 10 out of 10 masterpiece albums that have dropped in 2019, there have been a ton of great projects somewhere around the high 7s, 8s, and 9 ranges, and specifically, I think weird experimental alternative pop music is thriving right now. Yeah, there's always going to be some formulaic, boring pop music dominating the charts, but today I want to shine a light on 4 unique pop or pop-adjacent projects that I've been really into this year. No ranking, no competition, I'm just going to talk about each album, why I like it, and then I'll give examples of some of my favorite tracks. First and foremost, we've got 1000 gecs by 100 gecs, and I could talk about this thing forever. This album is really the reason that I'm making a video on eccentric, unusual pop music from 2019, because this project has everything. If you're looking for something completely one of a kind, this is the album for you. More than any other project this year, 1000 gecs has presented me with such an original blend of styles and sounds that I'm in awe every time I listen to it. We get shades of pop punk, dubstep, metal, emo, and I am so blown away by the choices that were made on this thing. The production for something as maximalist and huge as this is obviously very important, and they absolutely killed it. All the bass booming is exhilarating. The more experimental random noises on the big finales of certain songs are nerve-wracking, but in the best way possible. And the pitched up chipmunk vocals are charming and sweet, even when the lyrics are harsh, and that's fascinating. The initial taunting on Money Machine is hilarious, and then the chorus is one of the catchiest things I've heard all year. And then Ringtone has just been steadily climbing up the list of my favorite songs in a long time. It's so cute, and it puts the biggest smile on my face every time. My boy's got his own ringtone. Is the only one I know, is the only one I know. My boy's got his own. Next up, we have the album Flamboyant by Dorian Electra, and I'm trying to make some good little segues here because this album does feature production from Dylan Brady of 100 gecs. With that being said, it is a very different album. While I obviously love the gecs, I mainly listen to them for the huge, crazy fireworks show that their project is, and I think Dorian has more to offer when it comes to creating very personal tracks that still revolve around a similar bubblegum-based sound. Just from looking at this beautiful, strange album artwork, you can get a sense for how this album plays out. There's elements that feel futuristic, but there's inspiration from the past. It's very free and liberating, but also meticulously thought out. It's fun, with some very serious undertones, but more than anything, and again this is the theme of the video, it's original to the core. I think the lyrics on this thing is what made me connect to it so much. Dorian offers an interesting perspective on things like gender politics, masculinity, fame, and happiness within the digital age. Dorian is giving these engaging criticisms, but there are plenty of moments of humor and lightheartedness as well. Musically, I love how dramatic things can get. It feels like a soap opera from time to time, and this only adds to how captivating the lyrics are, because the element of drama is a very peculiar barrier between things that are fun and serious. The title track Flamboyant is the big standout for me. Just within the first few seconds, we start with these bright, regal keys, then a sensual little synth pop beat, and then Dorian's intriguing voice. The song has these odd little sound effects, and the chorus is perfection. I'm flamboyant, I go all the way. I also really like the song Man to Man. The themes of masculinity really shine here, and the phrase man to man can mean so many things in this song. It can be intimate, or violent, or personal, and again, the chorus here is unreal. Man to man, hand to hand. Continuing on with the segues, we're going to talk about someone who Dorian has worked with in the past, and that's Charli XCX. Charli probably makes the most accessible, quote-unquote normal pop music out of any of these musicians, but still, she's doing her own thing. This is the main point that I made about Aries and his album from earlier in the year too. They're not reinventing the wheel by any means, they're using the sounds that we know, that we've heard before, but they're making them much more interesting. Aries with a trappy hip-hop inspired anti-pop, and Charli with electro-pop. My main takeaway from the album Charli is just how enjoyable this whole record is. Her ability to create these joyful melodies combined with the pure danceability of these instrumentals is jaw-dropping. The most surprising thing here is that we have so many features on this album, but I think most of them, if not all of them, work really well. 15 tracks and 51 minutes in length is pretty bold, especially compared to what we had in our 2 previous projects, and I gotta say that Charli keeps me engaged from start to finish. I love her voice, I think there's always plenty of personality within her singing, and when an album is executive produced by A.G. Cook, you know we're gonna be happy with all the vocal mixes. It's a neat little array of styles and a wide variation in levels of experimentation that we get on the album. Some tracks can be aligned with PC Music, going full PC Music and doing what they do best with the futuristic / robotic aesthetics, and then other songs are much more predictable and much more radio friendly, i.e. almost Chainsmokers-esque, but, you know, like, if they were good. To give you examples of both, we'll start with the track Thoughts. This is much slower than a lot of PC Music stuff, but it's still so digital, so futuristic, and Charli sounds enough like an android here that you might even call this a conceptual song where she's pretending to be one. It's a beautiful nightmare of a track, and I really love it. And then Blame It On Your Love is an example of a super accessible, very radio-friendly song. It has a classic pop formula that we're used to, but it just feels so much better than the same old stuff. The Lizzo feature is great, and I'm shocked that this song wasn't bigger commercially. And last but not least, I want to go over Caroline Polachek and her album Pang. This features more production from the PC Music camp, but again, Caroline does her own thing on this album. My big takeaway from this one is how every track feels like its own little world. Caroline's songs feel less like songs and more like soundscapes. A lot of them sound like film scores with lyrics, which I don't know if that's the dumbest thing that I've ever said, or if I'm really onto something there. While the instrumentals are often these grand, sort of sweeping scores, Caroline's incredible voice plays a huge role here too. It's a cliche to say that a singer is quote-unquote classically trained, and it also kind of sounds super pretentious now that I'm saying it out loud, but seriously, she has the voice of somebody that could be doing opera, and that makes it so fascinating when you hear her singing on the more basic pop tunes that appear on this record. How often do you get to hear an opera singer on a radio-friendly pop song? That's probably not the best way to describe what's going on here, but it's late at night when I'm writing and recording this, and right now at least, I think that that's a really interesting concept. The main lyrical theme that I got from the album was that of pain, and while the writing is good, Caroline's delivery really sells the emotional aspects of the album in a big way. From start to finish on this record, we get to see the beginning, middle, and end of a human being facing the idea of emotional pain and trauma. We feel the initial shock of it all, we endure that pain with her, and then eventually, there's the happiness and euphoria of picking up the pieces when everything is done. Hit Me Where It Hurts is my favorite track on the album. Production-wise, the layers upon layers on this song is mind-blowing. It's incredibly lush and absolutely gorgeous. Feeling like a butterfly trapped inside a plane. Maybe there's something. And then track number 14, Parachute, is a perfect way to close the album. It's a brilliant example of the film score with lyrics kind of song that I was talking about, and it captures the aforementioned feeling of euphoria really well. I've got to trust it. Let me know what some of your favorite pop albums of the year are down below, and thanks for watching. Hey, thank you for watching that video. If you want to support the channel, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. You can follow me on social media at RenshawHS. You can buy my merch, support my Patreon, and thank you again. I'll see you soon.